Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing. Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 470 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. What's going on out there? I'm glad you're here and I'm glad I'm here. So I read a funny post the other day and it said something like, when we were young, we didn't want anyone telling us what to do, but now that we're adults, all we want is someone to tell us exactly the thing we should be doing. I could so relate to that post. It would be really nice to just always kind of have someone guiding us towards the thing that is the right thing for us to do, wouldn't it? But we kind of have that, though. I mean, it's somewhat innate inside of us. It just so happens that we look for it everywhere it's not. We look for it outside of us if we would just be quiet and still our mind and listen, the wisdom that we need is inside of us and has been all along. And we're learning that together through this podcast and through all the other good things that we do. So let's keep it up. Okay. All right, how many times have you said to yourself, that's just how I am, or I'm not that smart, or I am never going to change, that's just the way it is? There are so many versions of the words we use to put limitations on ourselves. You probably have a few go-tos, and I bet some of them you've carried through from your childhood. Things like, I've never been good at making friends, or I've always been this way since I was a kid. Now, maybe some of those limitations came as an adult, where you say, there's no way I could ever quit drinking completely, or I'm not ever going to be the skinny fit girl, or I hate working out. These are subtle ways our mind keeps us in a holding pattern of doing the same things we've always done because, well, it's not our fault or it's out of our control, so we don't allow ourselves to go through the necessary uncomfortable phase of changing our habits because why would we? In our mind, it would do no good. Now, this is a very human thing to do. We all do it. But what I've come to realize is this. Usually, the reason we say these things, like there's no way I could stop drinking alcohol, is because deep down there's something innate in us that wants to and knows it would benefit us. But our human mind likes for things to stay the same. It wants safety and comfort above all else. And when we're in a constant state of comfort, any challenge seems overwhelming. And when we're in a constant state of doing only the things that feel good or are easy, any challenge becomes almost offensive. And this is causing us to be weak as a society. Our minds don't have to work very hard anymore to find food or to stay safe. So our basic human needs are easily attained without much effort for most of us. So we don't have a lot of struggle to meet our needs. But meeting those basic needs is not enough for most humans. Most of us are not satisfied with just the basic human needs. But we also have gotten so comfortable and can access our basic needs with so little effort that when something feels like a stretch or like it's out of our comfort zone, our first thought is, oh, I'm not doing this. Why would I when I don't have to? Any sign of struggle and we want to quit. We want more, but getting more requires effort and struggle, which for a lot of people just isn't worth it because our basic human needs are met without struggle. So why struggle if we don't have to? Well, I have the answer. Are you ready? You want to hear it? Now, I don't always go with the answer, but this is what it is. You want the struggle too because there is no growth without it. There's no change without effort. The reason you have this yearning inside of you is because there's something in you that wants more, but there's an equal force that also just wants to be comfortable. So which one's going to win out? So you want to feel and look your best innately, but you still eat and drink things all the time that don't lend you to feeling and looking your best. Or you want to be fit, but you always find something more important than exercise. Maybe you want to have a more active social life, but video games and social media or even your dog are just more comfortable. How about you want so badly to have that new venture be successful, but some of the things you need to do are out of your comfort zone, so you distract yourself instead and tell you you're too busy. I could go on and on with the list of things we want for ourselves and how we consistently do the opposite that it would require. So we tell ourselves that that's just the way it is. That's just how we are. And some things will never change. And that will continue to be true until you die, or it becomes unbearable for you to stay that way. Now, I've said for a long time, for as long as I can remember, that I have to eat first thing in the morning when I wake up. No question about it. Got to eat immediately. If I had to fast until 8 a.m. for a doctor's appointment or something, you would think I hadn't eaten in a month. I would say that that's just how I'm made. That's how my body is. I could not for the life of me understand how people just forgot to eat. I have friends that they're like, oh my gosh, I haven't eaten all day. That's insane to me. Like, I would be rabid if I hadn't eaten all day. I mean, I could never forget to eat. It just couldn't happen. Now, here and there, I would read things that said we should be able to go 16 hours without eating periodically so that our body has time to heal and repair any damage that we've done just on day-to-day living and eating. But I've always said there's no way. Even though I've tried different things in different ways to clean up my nutrition, I innately want to eat healthy and do the things that are right for my body. I think we all do. But I never allowed myself to go through the discomfort of actual change until a couple years ago when I was having some pretty bad reactions to food. And that's when my functional nutritionist gave me this 10-week protocol. I mean, it was cutting out gluten, grain, dairy, alcohol, sugar, you name it. But it had gotten so unbearable, I wanted to make a big change. So I did stop eating all of those things. But what I didn't do at the time, which I wasn't really, I guess I wasn't cognizant of it. I thought if I just got rid of all of those things, I'd be fine. I wasn't getting the 6 to 8 cups of greens and veggies and fruits that he said I needed. I just sort of cut the other things out. Gradually, though, in the last year or so, I noticed I was allowing sugar to creep back in. And then recently, if you've listened for a while, Eric had his AFib incident. And that was a big wake-up call. That caused us to clean things up completely. But this time, we cut out most sugar, and on top of that, added in 6 to 8 cups of vegetables and fruit, mainly vegetables and greens, every single day. And then we added lots more protein too. But something interesting has happened. I sometimes forget to eat. My body is getting so much nutrition from the food that I'm eating that I stay full for very long periods of time, which is highly unusual for me. I actually went to the gym the other day around 9 o'clock and I was working out and I thought, oh my goodness, I haven't eaten breakfast. It was one of those aha moments for me. I realized that it wasn't just the way my body's designed or it's just hereditary that I have to eat every, 3 hours. It was really, I was burning sugar for fuel instead of going into my fat stores for fuel. So I was constantly having to eat and my body was craving anything because it hadn't been getting the nutrition from food. Yes, I was eating, but I wasn't eating the things that my body needed for nutrition, like greens and vegetables and fruits and good, healthy proteins. I had set and then overcome my own limitations that I had put on myself. Now, it wasn't comfortable at first, but growth doesn't happen in our comfort zone. It happens on the other side of it. It happens when we allow ourselves to be a little uncomfortable. Knowing we're strong and the discomfort just means we're doing something new or different. Knowing that in order to be happy, fulfilled, full human beings, we need to struggle in some way. I'm reading this new book right now it's called The Laws of Life by John Marks Templeton. Really good. It's very, very, it's large, but I'm actually happy it's big because I am enjoying it so much I don't want it to end. But in it, he gives us rules for being human. And I loved it so much, I wanted to share it with you. I think you'll love it too. So the rules are this. You will learn lessons. We're all enrolled in a full-time school called Life on Planet Earth. Every person and incident is your teacher. There are no mistakes, only lessons. Failures are the stepping stones to success. A lesson is repeated until learned. How well do we know that? It's presented in various forms until you learn it. Then you go to the next lesson. And if you don't learn easy lessons, they get harder. Pain is one way the universe gets your attention. You got any pain going on right now? It's the universe probably telling you need to change it up. You'll know you've learned a lesson when your actions change. Only action turns knowledge to wisdom. There is no better than here. When there becomes here, you'll find another there that looks better than here. I know that sounds confusing, but it makes so much sense. Others are only mirrors. You can only love or hate something in another that reflects something you love or hate in yourself. Your life is up to you. Life provides the canvas, you do the painting. Your answers lie inside of you. All you need to do is look, listen, and trust. And finally, you'll tend to forget all of this, but you can remember anytime you wish. You can save this or heart this or send this episode as a text to remember that, because those lessons are so valuable. The reason you aren't the size you want to be isn't because it runs in your family. It's because the part of you that values comfort is winning out. The reason you aren't more socially active isn't because you're a loner. It's because the part of you that values distraction is winning out. The reason you aren't changing that job you hate isn't that you're not smart enough to find one you love. It's because the part of you that values safety and security is winning out. We all put limitations on ourselves. It's only when we allow ourselves to get okay with feeling a little discomfort that we break through to the other side of it. So welcome that struggle and embrace it. You've heard people say, embrace the struggle. I never understood, but now I do. The next time something feels hard, remember, it's supposed to. It's new. And then remind yourself, too, that one part of you wants the beautiful growth that comes from that struggle, and the other part of you wants to hide in the cave where, yes, you're safe, but you're also resenting that you aren't fit or healthy or socially active or super successful or whatever it is that calling is that you really want. But you are comfortable until that comfort becomes a prison, and it will. It's just some will actually distract themselves from the prison and some will break out. It's up to you which one you do. My challenge to you this week is the next time you feel a calling to something like a new job or a new adventure or a new habit, notice that parts of you wants it really bad and the other part of you wants to ignore it, justify why you don't have it, or distract yourself from it. We all have that little fight within ourselves with just about everything we do. You don't have to die with that calling still inside of you. That calling is there for a reason. It's something you're meant to have or meant to do. You're never given a calling that isn't meant for you. But you may have a calling that you aren't quite ready for, which, you know what that means. It means you have to grow, and in order to grow, you have to struggle. And sometimes you have to fail more than once or twice or 10 times even to succeed. But eventually, you will succeed as long as you don't quit. And then when you reach that goal, you'll want for another, and off you go again. That's the story of our life. It's part of the rules for being a human. Share this with 3 people who already inspire you. I love you guys. I'll talk to you in a few days. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends, because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.